Hey there guys, how's it going? Trains here again, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to kit up your Apprentice in Dungeon Defenders 2 for Nightmare difficulty. So first off, let's take a look at stats real quick. These are pretty straightforward, just like the Squire video. You're going to want to put in defense power maxed out, defense speed maxed out, and defense range maxed out. And although on the Squire I did have my points in defense health, I have switched them over to defense crit damage now. It just seems to be overall better for DPS. So these are the last four stats in the left column you're going to want to look at. Then, for the sphere sheet, we're actually going to want to go ahead and put in the 2 defense power spheres, the 1 defense speed sphere, and then 2 range spheres for the medium slots. Then, for the large slot, we're going to want to throw in 25% chance for the flame burst tower and flamethrower tower to deal an extra 40% damage to one target. Now, I personally do not have the Uber Sphere for the Apprentice for the Flamethrower Tower, so I just go ahead and put in the Shielding Guard Sphere for Uber. But if you do have the Flamethrower and want to use that instead of my current Shielding Sphere, go ahead, this guide works for either the Flamethrower or Flame Burst Towers. Now, next up, we're going to want to take a look at what are the optimal items to have on this guy. Well, so far for what I've seen for the Apprentice, for the weapon, we're going to want to look for Snowstorm and defense critical strike percentage. I haven't seen too many other variations that really improve on this. Of course, we're going to want defense power as a primary stat, but for the passives, we just want defense critical strike chance and Snowstorm to increase the Frostbite Tower's chill slow. For the helmet, we're of course going to want defense power as a primary, defense crit damage as a secondary, and then defense critical strike percentage and vector corrector for the passives. Those are going to be the best passives we can pick up on here, but if you can also pick up the frosty power, you're going to want to go ahead and get that on the helmet as well. What that does is it increases the damage of defenses that are affected by your Frostbite Chill. I completely butchered that sentence. Let me just read it. Frostbite Tower's Chill increases the defense power of affected defenses by 7% of defense power. Now, this doesn't do much on its own, but once you stack up a ton of these on multiple items, it really starts to add up. You can get up to an extra 2,000 or 3,000 defense power from these items. Let's also take a look at the chest piece. Same thing, we want defense power, defense critical damage, and then defense critical percentage on there, chance percentage, so it basically increases the chance of you getting a critical strike, and then frosty power as well if you can get it. And this is the exact same for the gloves, not looking at anything different here. Now, the medallion, again, is the next most important bit. We're going to want defense critical chance, increases defense critical chance by 3% for me, and then pyromania. This is the most important stat if you do not have flamethrower towers. If you're running flame burst, this just gives you a standard baseline damage increase by a percentage, not based on defense power or anything fancy like that, just whatever DPS you see on your flame burst, multiply it by the percentage and add it back on. Fantastic. You definitely want pyromania if you're not running flamethrower towers. And of course, for the primary stat, defense power, secondary defense crit damage, and the medallions can also get frosty power on them. So if you can pick that up, go ahead and do so. Lastly, the pet, you're just going to want to go ahead and get defense power and defense critical strike chance on there. My pet's a little glitched out right now. Let me go to the veterinarian dude, and you can see defense power and defense critical damage. Now, if we take a look at the actual towers at work, it deals about 10k DPS to the primary target, and then about 3 to 4k DPS to the secondary target. And then if you've got the frosty going on it as well, you'll see that the damage is consistently overall higher. It does not drop below the 10k mark, and it does improve overall functionality. Now, for a regular build for this character, if you're going to go in any of the difficulties, and especially in Nightmare mode, I like to throw down 4 Flame Burst Towers, or Flamethrowers in your case if you're running the Uber, and then back it up with an extra Flame Burst or an Earth Shatter Tower if need be. Now, let's take a quick look at the ranges. If you look at the ranges, the Earth Shatter Tower has about a 20%, maybe 15% more range than the Flame Burst. The Frosty Tower has a little bit more range than the Flame Burst Tower as well, but the Flame Burst does have quite a bit of range. And the reason we want to pick up Vector Corrector and both of the 10% projectile range increases is because without the range increases, the Flame Burst Tower will not be able to hit mages, by mages I mean necromancers and the spear throwers in the lanes. And if they can't hit those, then you're just shit out of luck. Those guys are gonna sit back out of range from the towers and hit the barricades and then move up and then even start hitting the towers themselves. And the towers just won't be able to do anything and you'll have to manually go in and help. And in Nightmare 3 and 4, you just do not have the time to be helping multiple flame burst lanes with their spear thrower problems. You're gonna want to get the range on these guys so they'll be able to hit anything that has range on them at all. Once you've got vector corrector at about 16%, and then both of the projectile range sphere increases, any ranged monsters in the game will just be within range of the flame burst, and they'll be able to take care of them no problem. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this guide helps you out. Let me know if you've got any comments, questions, or concerns down below, and I wish you luck defending the dungeons.